not a queen or a monster. I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Real Time for the Real Everyday Movie Fan. I'm Josh Williams.
And I'm Ryan Murphy.
And today you're giving our real-time review of Thor Ragnarok. You clicked on the video, and here it is.
Yep. Thor Ragnarok. Now, again, some of our viewers, this might seem like a recurring theme. I haven't seen it. He has, because
I get to see him early.
Yeah, you get to see it on Tuesday. He's like, let's do this super early. I'm probably gonna see it. I want to see it and then come back.
Yeah, we're gonna do a spoiler. We're gonna do a spoiler review after he sees it. I'm hoping to get him in earlier than Saturday. That way we can actually get a spoiler review. But that actually might make sense. That way we can probably do the review Sunday and have it up. That way it gives all of you a chance to see it over the weekend. Right. But who's all in this?
Thor Ragnarok stars Chris Hemsworth, of course, Cate Blanchett, Tom Hiddleston, Tessa Thompson, Taika Waititi, Mark Ruffalo, Idris Elba, Karl Urban, Jeff Goldblum, Anthony Hopkins, Sam Neill. Just a lot of people. Okay, so you saw this. Give us your rating out of 10 and tell us what you think.
I'm going to give this, it's still, I think, I was back and forth. I still think I'm going to give it a 8.9 out of 10.
8.9 out of 10.
It wasn't quite a 9. It might actually go a little higher because I'm getting more and more excited the more I think about it because I had so much fun. This is, in my opinion, better than the first two. I think Taika Waititi, who directed this, had such a firm grasp on this new version of Thor, which is a more lighthearted, more cocky, kind of like Tony Stark-esque, with more comedy to him and confidence. I really liked, if you've seen the videos online of of Thor with his roommate, I forgot what they were.
Go to the market, set up a stall, and write, Asgardian wear. Previously owned by Thor. I'm a celebrity that will sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. But how he kind of acts in that. That's him in this movie. He's very joking, but also takes time to still be a serious character when he needs to be. And I feel like Taika Waititi had a firm grasp on this film and making it a comedy. And I remember when we were talking about it, you were worried, and I actually was a little worried too, that it was just going to be a pure comedy. But I would like to think after I watch it now, it reminds me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy,
which was a comedy, basically.
It was a comedy, basically. That's what was the great part. But it was such a spectacle as well. So many great colors. The scope was great. The action was awesome when it needed to be. But it stuck to the core of still being a great comedy, and a buddy comedy at that, with not only with Thor and Loki, but with Thor and Hulk, and this new woman Valkyrie. She takes a great part in it, which she is one of the big outstanding characters. I'll get into that here in a second. But overall, so far, I really enjoyed this. I had a couple of small peeves, but other than that, I walked out really happy and satisfied. I'll say that.
Okay. So any more specific positives that you would have?
Specific positives I'll go into. While it had some great comedy to it, it did take its time. Whenever it had dramatic scenes, it took its time to let them be fleshed out. Now, there were a couple, which is one of my peeves, I'll just go ahead and say it. There were a couple scenes that I didn't like where there were some great dramatic moments, but they throw in some jokes there to kind of, make it lighthearted, which they didn't need to. They could have kept it going with, sticking to some of these dramatic scenes and keeping them fleshed out, but they decided to do that, which those are some small spots, not every once in a while. Because, what was it? In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where there was just too many jokes. Even in dramatic scenes, it was just, everywhere and everywhere. They didn't do that. Thank God.
They told me you people were conceited douchebags. But that isn't true at all.
They do it in some spots, like I just said, but not everywhere.
Okay.
One of the big positives was Cate Blanchett as Hela.
Okay.
She was so captivating on screen. She just owned the character. Every time she's on screen, you just wanted to, I don't want to say root for her, but you're just damn, she's a badass. And she just, Cate Blanchett is such a great actress, and she really grasps the hold of this character, I feel like, as far as at least being villainous. Now, do they give her a ton of, depth and backstory? Not necessarily, because that's one of the big problems with villains in MCUs. They don't give them a ton, but I will say she's up there as one of the bigger ones, one of the bigger threats, as well as definitely, because you see in the trailer, she destroys Thor's hammer, and in that scene, it's a pretty powerful moment, I think, and which really sets the tone of how strong she is. and goes on throughout. That was one of my biggest positives. But besides that, one of the things I loved was the music, the colors, the overall scope of the film, the effects, the action, like all of it. One of the things I loved was, and in trailers like the immigration song that is played that was played in one of the trailers. It kind of got you pumped and got you excited for the movie. But then whenever you see the movie, sometimes those songs or stuff are not in the movie. That happens in this movie. I actually love the fact that there's a couple of spots where that song plays when Thor's, having action scenes, and it makes it even more badass. And I never knew it until now, and Taika Waititi introduced it to us. But this, to me, that is now Thor's theme song. Like it just works so well, especially with one of the big action scenes with him. I don't want to say when it is, but it's like it just owns the whole screen. Like, and he's just such a badass with the song playing with him.
So, any negatives that you would have?
Besides the ones I brought up, I will say, it's kind of a minor pet peeve, and I don't think it's really spoilerish. But I didn't like how when you got introduced to Hulk, they kind of allude to how he's able to talk, but they don't really go into depth with it, and I didn't really appreciate that. I wanted to give a little more explanation to why, how all of a sudden he's talking. They kind of like, he's, I don't want to give that part away, but they kind of give a small explanation, but it's not enough for me to be like, okay, but that doesn't explain that. So that was one of my other pet peeves that I had with the film. Another one actually was, I will say, it doesn't really know, as far as Ragnarok is concerned, it's not really the focal point. Besides how fun the movie is and how much of a great adventure it is, that idea doesn't really come to fruition until all of a sudden, towards the very end, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, okay, I mean, that's cool. It doesn't take away from the film by any means. And like I said, even though it's an 8.9, it's probably going to be a lot higher, but that was still a little pet peeve for me, was the fact that the focal point of the movie, Ragnarok, wasn't necessarily there until the end.
Okay. Great. And then as far as the film, going forward, does it have any nice teases for the future of the MCU?
It has a couple.
Okay.
It has one, and it has 2 end credit scenes, not 3. It gives one to help allude to things moving forward. But what I was going to get into my overall is that I loved that this movie kind of evolved Thor, not just Thor, but kind of Asgard in general from Ragnarok. And moving forward, I can see it even becoming bigger within the realm of the MCU, kind of more important. And even in like the growth of not just Thor, but Hulk and Loki and Valkyrie, even though she's only in this one movie, like I can see them playing a much bigger part than, I mean, of course Thor and Hulk are going to be a big part, but I can see them playing a bigger part moving forward in Infinity War.
Great. Okay, so 8.9 out of 10, and highly recommended.
I can highly recommend you guys see this. I'm probably going to see it multiple times. Like I said, I think my score is even going to go higher. I had so much fun with this movie, even though I can see the argument where it was not as, gravitationally, oh man, we might lose. It didn't matter. I mean, you had so much fun. The pacing was just kind of there really well. Like it kept going with the story, and the beat was like, as far as the tone was really well. And I can see this becoming definitely one of the best of the MCUs. I don't know if that's going to be me. I can definitely say it's the best of the Thors. I don't know where it's going to place within like the greatest of all the MCU films, but I can say I think it will be definitely top 10.
Okay. That'll do it for today, folks. What did you think of Thor Ragnarok? Leave your comments in the section below, and please subscribe to our channel so you can see more of our great content in the future. I'm Ryan Murphy.
I'm Josh Williams.
And thank you for keeping it real.
With ReelTime.